All right, shalom, shalom. Okay, we're going to look at Luke 22. We're going to look at the Last Supper. It's very important to look at the Last Supper. A lot of people are missing the point about the new covenant and the old covenant. People worrying about what they wear, what they eat, and what they drink. But they believe in the Messiah. They preach the Messiah. They teach New Testament scriptures. But they still do not listen. They're not listening. So I'm going to read it. It says, Then came the day of unleavened bread on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. Yahshua sent Peter and John saying, Go and make preparation for us to eat the Passover. Where do you want us to prepare for it? They asked. He replied, As you enter the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him to the house that he enters and say to the owner of the house, The teacher asks, Where is the guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples? He will show you a large room upstairs, all furnished. Make preparations there. So you know this in Jerusalem, right? Alright. They left and found things just as Yahshua had told them. So they prepared the Passover. When the hour came, Yahshua and his apostles, the messengers, reclined at the table, and he said to them, I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you, I will not eat it again until it finds fulfillment in the kingdom of Yahuwah. Right? And taking the cup, after taking the cup, he gave thanks and said, Take this and divide it among you. For I tell you, I will not drink again from the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of Yahuwah comes. Jerusalem, which is above, is free, and the mother of us all. Continue. In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup, that same cup, saying, This cup is what? This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you. What does disciple mean? What does apostles mean? You believe in the Mashiach, don't it? So what does covenant mean? What does new mean? What does, new is better, right? Something renewed, better. You're dealing with a better covenant, a better promise, right? Hebrews 8:13. It all connects. So you should have hearkened to Deuteronomy 18 verses 17 through 19. You have to listen to the Son, Mark 9:7. But the hand of him who is going to betray me is with mine on the table. So if you put this in modern day terms, there are people who have taken the cup, this new covenant, and they still betrayed the Messiah. Or they about to take action to betray the Messiah. How? Well, you take the cup, but then you go back to another covenant when you already took the cup. You might be bewitched. You might have been tricked, bamboozled. Maybe you just did not know. You did not see the scriptures. Well, that's the point. It wasn't your time to see. But now that you see, now is the time. But people will listen. Well, they hear, but they won't listen. They see, but they still don't have sight. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful. Let's continue. The Son of Man, Yahushua or Yahushua, will go as it has been decreed. It's already been established. Whatever was said, it was said for the Son of Man to go. But woe to the man, but woe to that man who betrays him, who betrays Yahshua HaMashiach. Woe to that man. So if the head of every man is Christ, so why would you even deny your own head by going back to an older covenant? You already have this covenant. You toting this covenant. You can't tote you can't tote the covenant that Yahshua HaMashiach has established, right? And you cannot tote the covenant that was already conveyed through Moses. You did not hearken to Mark 9:7. The Most High Father, I'm sure enough that the Most High Father do not want you to live by bread alone. So a lot of you people live by what Moses said, and you try to keep the ordinances, the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. And then you you read the Gospels, you claim to read the whole entire volume of the book. There are many books in that one book. Every book is a volume on its own. All together is a canon. Individually, you need to understand each book at a time individually. Because many people have read the Gospels, the New Testament, and still think, well, Israelites, they still think they up under the old covenant. If the people said in the Gospels, according to the testimonies, they said, let his blood be upon us and our children. You don't think certain prophecies had to come to pass about the Mashiach? He had to die and everything. And then the warning from that same Mashiach that they denied, saying that you need to flee to the mountains when the army start to rise and come into the holy city and the destruction thereof, fleeing to the mountains. You know, certain mountains lead to Africa. You know what I'm saying? Why you think there's a Hebraic culture within the interiors of Africa, West Africa, South Africa, other places in Africa today? So all this came to pass, you know, and because of this cup and everything the Messiah said right here, it says they began to question among themselves which of them it might be who would do this, who would do such a things, into denying this covenant of blood. That's significant of Moses sprinkling the blood upon the people and with the stuff that he had to establish the first. The book of Hebrews speak about the first covenant. If it wasn't for the first, a second one should have never been established, and Christ would be in vain. Follow the Mashiach. He will lead you to all truth. Shalom.